In a democracy, citizens need to be informed. Informed about policies, issues, homelessness, law enforcement, and social services. In order for people to make good decisions that affect their lives, they need to be informed. Conversations with Erroll Parker. Reverend Dr. Leon Wood and Paula Wood are co-founders and administrators for the Success and Challenges organization. It's a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to the development of youth in this city. And they've done an outstanding job for over a decade, helping young people with their career development, with their socialization, the discipline, providing a safe place for young people to grow and thrive and develop. Welcome to our program, Reverend Dr. Leon Wood and Paula Wood. You're doing a great job in the city of Long Beach. We want to talk about the mission of the organization as you founded and also what you want to do for the future. But let's start with you, Paula, in terms of you're the executive director of the program.
Yes.
Tell us about what you're trying to do with Success and Challenges Incorporated.
We're really trying to work with families, particularly families with youth, and we're really trying to help them be able to live their lives so that they can manage every aspect of it, and whether that has to do with the education, employment issues, housing, just to be able to function. We have many of our families who are what we would probably call dysfunctional, in the fact that maybe there's not two parents in the home, or parents are busy working, children are without care part of the day, basically maybe raising themselves sometime without childcare. And so we're really trying to help those families be able to manage so that they can be an effective unit. And so we work with parents. We have advocacy programs, leadership program opportunities for our parents, as well as teenagers and youth. We found early on that many of our children were having problems with homework simply because they couldn't read, or they couldn't read as well or as effective as they should be able to read.
So you're dealing with literacy as well?
Dealing with literacy, yes. And one of the programs that we started back in 2005 is called the Freedom School, Long Beach Freedom School.
We want to talk about that in a little while.
Okay.
But you are also a co-founder of the organization. Mm-hmm. You're a member of the clergy, but you have been a political activist for many, many years, having got your doctorate degree from Claremont College and University of Laverne. The Success and Challenges program, as Paula has described, what is your role there? Now, she's the executive director. What are you trying to do in your role with Success and Challenges?
Well, what I've done is I try to be to bring as much positive political activity. And I try to develop relationships that will come in and provide the support that we need for the program. And I also know that for a program to be successful, it has to have positive social capital throughout the community. So I try to network with various persons to make sure that we have the kind of support base that we need. And then I use some time to develop some new creative ideas for new programs and to spread it out to a little wider audience than what we have done in the past. So that's my major role.
Now, with the new administration in Washington, D.C. and the funding in terms of these type of programs drying up to some degree, how are you managed to keep this program afloat the Freedom School we're going to talk about in a little while, but it takes funds in order for a nonprofit to
Well, we've really
stay
been
afloat.
blessed that since we've been in Long Beach, we've been able to get the word out to many of our local foundations and many individual donors. We have a very successful event that we have launched about 7 or 8 years ago called our Gala. And that's one of the things that we use to raise money for one of our major programs. We solicit, individuals for donations. We write grants. As Reverend Wood said, we're always looking for opportunities to connect with other organizations and maybe work together.
Collaboration.
Collaboration, yes, and being able to collaborate on some grants. And so we've had some successes in that area. And I think through a lot of prayer and God's blessings with us, we've been able to continue over these years. It's been quite a journey.
Quite a challenge, as the name of the organization depicts. Single parenthood, much different than when you were raised in Bakersfield and you in Detroit, Michigan.
Yes.
How is your organization dealing with the absence of fathers in the home, and what kind of effect is that having, Dr. Wood, on the inner city home?
Well, what I've seen more of is that more and more young, especially males, are being raised in homes without a father. And you can see, observe that in the behavior and then their performance.
How
in
does that
school.
manifest itself in the behavior?
Well, there's fathers used to would give you at least sometimes we how to be the macho image of how you're supposed to conduct yourselves, how you're supposed to address issues, how you're supposed to solve problems. It also gave you an understanding of what your responsibility is going to be when you grow up and become a man, become a male. Right now, it's very difficult to find those kinds of experiences for young people, especially young males. Also, fathers were able to, with daughters, to have, so the daughter could expect a certain kind of behavior from a male, so the respect and how to respect your dignity and so forth. These things are now very difficult in a home and in an environment. There's a lot of pressure on the mother who's raising the children, both male and female. The father's not there, and we have to figure out how to rebuild and bring back together that kind of a unit. Success and Challenges has been very, I guess, sensitive to those issues, and we've tried to develop programs and develop relationships that try to do some replacement of what is lost, and that's what we've been after.
One of the things that we've been very excited about is we have a parent engagement program, and this program is in its second year. It was funded by the California Endowment, and it's specifically designed to work with African American parents to really help them develop their leadership skills. And we noticed that they were absent at PTA meetings, at city hall groups, anywhere there's a place where parents might want to be able to talk on behalf of their children. They were absent. And so in a discussion with some funders about this, and they said, well, you deal with a lot of African American parents, you deal with a lot of families. If anybody could maybe get this, some help out and get some of our folk more involved in some of the community issues, then you guys could make an effort at it. And so Success and Challenge just launched a Parent Institute where there's actually been a series of workshops that were designed for parents. We worked in conjunction with the Children's Defense Society, Children's
Defense Fund.
Children's Defense Fund,
That's
sorry, in these workshops. And it was a series of workshops. We did it all last year, and we're starting it again this following fall. But it's really an opportunity for parents to go through and harm in on some of the things that they already know. Like a lot of parents don't realize the stories that they have within them, but maybe they haven't had that time to spend with their children. It's about communication. And a lot of times children actually really don't know that much about their family history and what's going on within the family. And so we're trying to encourage parents within the time frame that you have. Use that wisely. Really begin to develop a communication with your children. Let them begin to know who they are and begin to understand the issues that are going on for them at school. And then with that, also helping them to learn how to develop their own skills within themselves, helping them to become a little bit more self-assured about their ability to be able to learn how to speak up, to be able to go in a school and present themselves to a principal or the superintendent or whoever it is that they need to talk to.
A person in a position of authority. Exactly,
to be able to advocate on their parent and do it without anger, do it without frustration. Be able to deal directly with the issues and be able to leave with answers. And so we're seeing many of our parents are excited because they feel that they've been given their power back. They feel that they're a real advocate for their child, and now they can tell other parents, you know, this is what you need to do. If there's a problem at your school that your child is having, this is how you need to address it. And they're actually budding up and going with one another to be a support. And so this is the kind of thing that we're trying to develop with our parents and really letting them know that they do have some power.
Tell us about the Freedom School. Now that's Marion Wright Edelman.
Marion Wright Edelman, the Children's Defense Fund. We have been actually operating what we call a CDF, Children's Defense Fund Freedom School, since 2007.
Here in the city of Long Beach.
Here in the city of Long Beach. We work in conjunction with Long Beach Unified School District. We've been very fortunate that they have provided us with a school. I think maybe 2 or 3 years we were at churches, but predominantly at a school. The program operates for 6 years in the summer, and it's a reading enrichment program. The idea not necessarily to teach children how to read, but really get them to develop an appreciation for reading. And the program is exciting. It's different from the regular school model.
It certainly
and I
is.
think because it is different, parents tell us that their children don't have any problem in getting up and getting to school.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I have been at the beginning of the program in Harambe, and I kid you not, that's one of the most chilling and inspirational morning type of activities that I've ever been involved in. Tell us about Harambe and about the group there.
Harambe is such an uplifting experience. It's a 30-minute, it's a very short pace time frame, but they start out, we sing the Hallelujah chorus, and then we go into having someone from the community come in who is a guest reader. It could be someone like yourself. We try to get people from various backgrounds and careers, politicians, teachers, school administrators, you name it. We get, I have some of our parents that come in and read. And you're reading to a cross-section of all age groups, so you have the children from kindergarten through high school in Harambe. They're listening to the reader. The reader's telling a story. They have a short time to ask questions about why the reader selected that book. And then maybe the reader will share a little bit about their career. And then they there's a little cheer that goes with that. We do cheers for everything, always a positive reinforcement. And then next we have the cheers and chants. And the cheers and chants of Freedom School are really the kind of the power behind the program. They're always uplifting. They're always based on some type of educational component, whether it's around reading, education, it's proving oneself. The whole thing about Freedom School is that children are taught early on that they have a voice, and that with the right abilities, learning the right way, they're able to use that voice to get what they need and what they want in society. And so we do moments of silence, and then we do recognition. We always make sure that we're recognizing our children for whatever positive we might have seen. It might be simply, thank you for helping pick up the paper yesterday on the playground. But we're always doing some type of recognition. And we have little things that we do, like raise hands, one mic. And so it's a very effective program. It's exciting, it's fast moving. We go on field trips, and it's the reading curriculum is amazing.
Now, they go back to Indianapolis.
No, the staff go back to Tennessee.
Tennessee.
They go to Clinton, Tennessee,
For training.
actually, for training. And they are trained at the University of Tennessee, and then also Alex Haley's farm, which is a farm that Children's Defense Fund purchased for training purposes. And beautiful, they're there for a whole week, and they have an opportunity to learn the curriculum that has been developed for Freedom School, and then bring that back. And so the curriculum that we use is a curriculum-based program that is designed to really enhance a child's interest in reading.
And over the years, it's become multi-ethnic.
Yes.
Because it was not originally
started out-
designed for that.
It started out kind of as a result of the civil rights movement, as a part of the civil rights movement.
Okay, so when we return, we're going to talk exclusively to Reverend Wood about the things that are happening in the city of Long Beach. But before we get off that, I'd like to congratulate both of you for the success and challenges. I've been closely involved with the program myself. We're doing all kinds of things at the summer basketball and academic camp that we've done, and the tutorial program in North Long Beach, and the math collaborative. There's so many things that you're doing. Paul, I'd like you for just in 10 seconds, talk to the people out there and tell them how they can get involved with supporting Success and Challenges and the Freedom School within 30 seconds.
Okay, well, the Success and Challenges program, you can get in charge. We have a website, www.successandchallenges.com. We also, you can call us, look us up on the webpage, but Success and Challenges locally is 5239 Atlantic. We have an office there. We're active in the community, so
That's how you can get in touch.
that's how you get in touch with us.
Thank you very much, Paula. And when we return, we're going to talk exclusively to Reverend Dr. Leon Wood about some of the things that are happening in the city of Long Beach from a spiritual standpoint, and how he's using his influence as a clergy person in 2 or 3 different churches that he's been involved in the last few years. How are we going to do that? We'll be right back after these messages. In a democracy, citizens need to be informed about policies, issues, homelessness, law enforcement, and social services. In order for people To make good decisions that affect their lives, they need to be informed. Conversations with Erroll Parker. Welcome back to Conversations with Erroll Parker. And today on our program we've had Paula Wood, who was part of Success and Challenges, and now we're going to have an exclusive conversation with Reverend Dr. Leon Wood, who has done many things in civil rights and in Christian education and in spirituality in this city. He's been a part of 2 or 3 or 4 churches, and he's gotten a feel, Reverend Wood, of what this city is or where we are spiritual. But can you summarize, with all the issues that this city faces in homelessness and unemployment and immigration and police brutality and some of the negative things, but some of the high spiritual things, where are we spiritually in this city?
Well, Long Beach it's really a different kind of a place. It's a multi-ethnic place. It has a variety of ethnic groups, both economically and educationally, living together. We're almost a family. We just haven't learned how to live like a family yet.
How can we bring this together from a spiritual standpoint?
Well, the churches right now, that we have our services on Sunday, and we have different meetings periodically, but the meetings are very courteous and very kind of bland. We haven't really come together and talked about the central issues, because that might at some point in time cause a little bit of a emotional disturbance, but if we get it out on the table, we can deal with it.
What is the most, some of the most spiritual issues that this city is facing?
One of the issues that we have, I think one of the key issues, is racism. And I'm not talking about, we normally always, when we think of racism, we usually say the white community being racist, but we don't really deal with all of the communities have racial issues and have some racism in their behavior and the way they conduct themselves. We haven't really brought the issue of racism out on the table to try to get it done once and for all.
So it's not exclusively an African American and white issue?
No, it is not.
How so?
Because as an example, I'll give you one kind of an example. Take the port and the warehouses out there. The men that do a lot of the lifting, about 65 or 70% of them are African American. Because a lot of the men have prison records, or they come out of and they're working out there. They line up in the morning to be chosen. Well, the supervisors are Latino. The guys that are trying to organize a union group are also Latino. The owners are Anglo. Well, they're trying to organize something. These men are trying to do their job. They're trying to do their job, and they're trying to do their job, but they can't come together because the issue of trust isn't there. So therefore, the owners have a way of letting them stay divided, and that way it gives them an opportunity not to really get into the issue of fair labor practices. We find that kind of behavior all over, because if you keep people divided, you cannot unite for a constructive effort to do good for all people.
It sounds to me, Reverend Wood, that you're talking about that there's someone or some group that needs to step forward and facilitate and mediate the racial issue in this city, whether it's national or local.
The pastors and the religious leaders of our city, of a variety of faiths, need to come together, because since they, on Sunday or Saturday or whatever day they have, they really have the most people. So that it starts with them. If they come together and really have a discussion about just what we can do to make this a better world for all of us, I think we can get some headway.
Well, we have a South Coast Interfaith congregation or organization.
I'm on the board, yes.
What are they doing in order to mitigate some of this misunderstanding?
The meetings that I've gone to, I don't need, but they've been very courteous, but not direct on the issue. There's been some activities. I must admit they've done a lot of social good, and that's fine. But if you want to change the life of a nation and of a community so that all people can live together the way our scripture says, and in harmony and in brotherly love, then we haven't really dealt with the issues to do that.
Well, it starts with clergy.
Yes, it does.
And the clergy seem to not been able to get it together because we still have this issue. So as a clergy person yourself, on a one-on-one basis with all types of different faiths, what must you do? What must you get out of your comfort zone to do in order to bring the clergy together so they can fan out in these different neighborhoods?
Well, humbleness is one thing, truth is the other, and love is the other. And I must control my ego. I am not always right, and I must always be prepared to make change when necessary, because when another person presents their issue to me, I must be willing to accept and understand so that we can work together and come to a mutual agreeable conclusion.
Now, when you interact with your fellow clergy about this type of issue, is there resistance on their part? Is there sympathy? Is there sensitivity in that part?
One-on-one, you usually get, not anyone has disagreed with me, but in a group, we haven't really dealt with it because it appears that we want to not offend, or that we don't want to deal with the issue because it might cause a real disturbance and we can't do something that's quick. What I'm talking about is not going to be quick. It's going to be, you have to be determined, but if we do it in an effective way, it will be lasting.
Let's turn then to one of the deep issues. There's two deep issues that's going on in this country nationally as well as in the city of Long Beach. Let's start, first of all, talk about the homeless issue.
Okay.
When you drive around the city, and when you drive even in Los Angeles, you see thousands of homeless people around that camp around churches. And it doesn't seem that the church or the clergy community is really embracing and trying to get to the bottom of this really serious issue. What needs to be done?
Well, number one, the homelessness to me is the symptom of the problem. It is the manifestation of the deep problem. The deep problem is racism, unemployment, greed by persons in power who restrict resources and gear resources so that their advantage while other people suffer. And the other part is that the lack of sensitivity to the pain and suffering that it takes to be a homeless person. And so we haven't dealt with it that way. I've also had some issues, and I'm going to make some people angry, but the African American church has not been aggressive or active in an issue where the large number of the homeless are African American people, and the African American church has been the least group to make a concerted effort to address the issue.
Now, that's pretty a provocative statement. We look at the African American community as being really at the bottom of every category you're talking about in terms of,
Yes.
and you're saying that more sensitivity is needed by the African American church.
Right. I believe that, and I believe that the leadership, if we follow Dr. King's advice, if we follow the advice of Ella Baker, of others, we would understand. Even Marian Wright Edelman, when she was in SNCC, they went to the low, the ones that were suffering. We have a tendency now to say that's someone else's problem.
What about immigration? I mean, that is a national issue. What should the church of all faiths do in terms of the immigration policy that is really broken in this country?
Well, the immigration issue is people coming into our nation looking for a better life. That's how the nation started. People coming to this place looking for a better life. I think it's heartless to not be an open, accepting nation to people, because I happen to grow up in the central area of this country. When this country, when we needed people to work the fields and so forth, we would go to those countries and bring people in. All of a sudden now, we're pushing them away, and I think it's heartless.
Well, you just can't not. I mean, the position of the president of the administration in Washington, and a lot of other people, you just cannot open your borders and let anyone in, and let anyone flood in. We should build a wall. We should restrict immigration. Is that a reaction? I mean, someone, immigrants have to work someplace. They come to the United States for a better life. Should we just open the borders and let them in?
It's to me a sign of racism that takes me back to what you ever read. I used to tell people, read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. This nation, when they came here from Europe to settle in this nation, the people came out and brought them gifts to welcome them. I think we should welcome all people to this land. I think this entire globe should be occupied by people working together on one accord.
Well, then, if you had it your way, there would be no restriction in people coming into the town. What about criminals? What about people who are coming from gangs who are creating crime?
That's the other issue. We help create gangs and criminals through poverty and a lack of opportunity, through broken spirits. That's what helps create that kind of situation. I would say that those of us in America claims to follow the scripture and the Bible of Jesus Christ. At no time in any part of the scripture did I ever see Jesus restrict or welcome or even endorse the restriction of borders.
While that may be true, what about the issue of greed as far as its immigration is concerned, and as far as homelessness is concerned? I mean, we're a land of plenty, yet we see people sleeping on the streets.
We drive by people all the time after having a big lunch, and they're starving, and we have no feeling at this point in time. We have to recover our humanity so that we can begin to feel the urgency to do unto others as we would want others to do unto us.
And what about the Statue of Liberty? It says, give me your tired, give me your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. Have we forgotten those values? Should we take down the Statue of Liberty?
We should send it back to where it came, because we no longer believe in it. But I remember that the Statue of Liberty, when it came, they took off the chains that it used to have and put it in the basement, because even at the time of the Statue of Liberty, we still had slavery.
That's true. But when you look at the Constitution of the United States, it's a great document, and struggles had to ensue for women to have the right to vote, for African Americans to have the right to vote, for people who didn't have property had the right to vote. So it is an elastic Constitution. Are we still, and we're facing some very critical issues in terms of the Constitution. Which way are we going to go on that?
Well, I don't know, because the men that wrote the Constitution did not intend to include African American people or anyone. It was a document, in my view, the way they conducted themselves, a document that was a clear document to advance their own personal gain. What we have right now is, if we're not very careful, we have a dictatorship showing up, and we have a very cruel dictatorship, and we're using our local police force and ICE as the Gestapo, and if we're not careful, we're going to suffer greatly from it.
Very chilling analysis, Reverend Wood, about what's going on not only in our city, but also in the country. Thank you so much for coming in and exchanging and having a conversation with me about this.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to get it off my chest for a while. I've been carrying it a long time.
Thank you so much, and much success with you and Paula Wood with Success and Challenges.
Thank you so much, sir.
It's a program that's really needed in this country. Thank you so much.
Thank
we have
you.
been visiting with Reverend Dr. Leon Wood and his wife Paula Wood, talking about success and challenges and the spiritual development and the spiritual issues facing the city of Long Beach. A very interesting conversation. Join us next week for some more exciting guests with conversations with Erroll Parker. Good night. In a democracy, citizens need to be informed. Informed about policies, issues, homelessness, law enforcement, and social services. In order for people to make good decisions that affect their lives, they need to be informed. Conversations with Erroll Parker.